JB here. 3:34 on this October 22nd, Tuesday. Just gonna be really quick. Don't have too much time here to the close. Just a quick update on some of the trades and the market. But the S&P Nasdaq in the green slightly. You have small caps down about another 30%, trading around 222 on the IWM. So another chop, kind of markets down at lows. I think it was 11:30. No, 10:45 was the lows this morning. 580.99, back up to 584 and change. 584.50 at 2 o'clock, and now we're heading back up over 584 here. So just more chop, which does nothing for premiums. It's the worst thing for premiums. So hopefully we get some direction tomorrow. We have, or at least a breakout. So you can chalk this up maybe a little bit to consolidation with markets at all-time highs. And then we can get some follow through maybe with Tesla earnings tomorrow. Uh, the thing, and I keep talking about the yields, but now, and you'll keep probably hearing about it and reading about the yields, but here's the 10 years up another nearly 3% today. So something's got to give at some point. And I think that's some of the reason. I'll talk really quick about MDB in a second, but some of these tech names that are a little more sensitive to yields, maybe they start to take just a little breather. So that's the individual market, overall market. Why do I not have? I don't think I have the right chart up here. I have this all messed up here. Sorry about that. But first, yeah, I'll talk about MDB. And I was just looking for a position, markets near highs or at all-time highs. At some point, maybe there might be a little pull or some weakness. I don't want to be in a spot where, similar to yesterday and Friday, where I don't have any kind of put hedges on. So MDB, I think, could, and I've said this before, and I've traded it before for hedges. I think it can trade down on its own merits, even if the market's higher. You saw some weakness this morning in snow, and then some follow through on MDB. And then there were some large blocks of 260 puts and 255 puts that were going through. And then I finally pulled the trigger when it started breaking on 265. Tested 263 just a little while ago at 3 o'clock, bouncing a little here at 264. Won't take much. I got the 250s. If it breaks under 260 tomorrow, those puts will be a double. If it goes another 2.5%, 3% to the downside, you're talking in the money, a couple 100%. So that's the thought process there. I'll hold those into tomorrow as a hedge for potential. And I don't think that the market is going to sell off, but I'm open to the possibility there might be continued chop. And if that's happened, even if the market goes up, I think MDB might be a good hedge for protection. That's number one. Number two, WYNN up at highs here, 99.47. Another analyst op in Morgan Stanley raised their price target to 115 from 112. Kept their buy rating. Last week was Barclays maintaining overweight, raising price target. Wells Fargo, Jefferies raising price target on the 14th. UBS adjusted price target. So it just seems like every couple of days, someone else is just reiterating their bullish stance and upping their targets. And I said this before. Some of it's a function of its big move since the start of end of September. But you start looking, it's almost, and I always look at this through my bull goggles, like I was saying yesterday afternoon, but it looks like a bull flag is setting up. So bull flags, you have the large move, then you have consolidation, maybe just a little pullback, and then you have the next leg. So LVS reports earnings after the close tomorrow. That could be the next leg. Also, Asia markets overnight. At some point, there's going to be another start of another rally. Some of these China ADRs were showing some life today, and it's been a while. Baidu was all the way up to 93 before pulling back a little bit in the morning. Is that a sign that the Asia market's going to rally overnight? Possibly. So won't be surprised there. Redfin finally looked like it was going to show signs of breaking back over its 50-day moving average. I shouldn't say finally. It was over its 50-day moving average yesterday until the pullback. But a decent session, was up over 1070 for a bit at 2 o'clock, pulled back. It's a 1050 here, up 160. Still like this one long term. Hopefully it starts to cooperate. And then, the end of those Novembers last week, still have the Januaries, and I'll be patient there. VKTX, I think it was J Rock talked about it for a minute. Just so frustrating. Here it is at $91. I was looking at the premiums of 4. Let's see if I can even pull them up. But so you got a $5.20 implied move on VKTX. So if you take that's on the weekly strikes. So you're talking an 8.38% move implied on the option. And some of the weeklies don't look too bad if there's going to be some surprise. I mean, the 70 calls are 40 by 55, but are they going to pull another rabbit out of the hat like they did last quarter when they announced that the FDA had removed the phase 2B requirement and just bumped their next study to phase 3? I don't know. And then you start going out to obesity week. So next week doesn't look too expensive on a risk reward basis. I mean, the 70s for next week are $1.05 by $1.20. It's the following week when the premiums go nuts because you have obesity week and data. So that those are November 8 strikes, and there's a $14 move implied on the stock. Let's see. I don't even know what I did with that. Um, yeah, so $14.63. So uh, you start looking at some strikes. It's a 20, almost a 24% implied move. That it's actually come down a little bit. And you look at the premiums, some especially closer in the money. The $70 strikes are down, 69s are down 22% today. The 70s are down 13%, 74%, $74 strikes down 28.7%. These are the November 8 strikes. So some premiums come out. So maybe I'll wait another day and see how it looks on the Novembers, because that might be the better trade. If I'm going to throw some money on into earnings, I might as well just go out and just, instead of getting more contracts on a shorter date, I'll just get less contracts on the further out date. So maybe some 80s. So I'll wait and see. But it's certainly, there's going to be fireworks. This could be the data that sets it finally over 100. Well, maybe 85, 90, could be higher, or it could be kind of I wouldn't say the nail in the coffin, but it's just gonna fester around these levels, probably down to $50 or so. I think that's about it. I was trying to think of some of the other intuitive surgical has been frustrating today. Again, only need a 2.5, 3% move, and the calls are back to life, right? So it's down here at 515, down $3, but barely flat. Maybe another, and you had Argus adjust their price target this morning, but that's on the heels of all these other analysts upgrading the price targets on Intuitive Surgical. Clear Secure down less than 1%. It seemed like some of the other travel names. Just yesterday, I was talking about how Expedia, Booking, and all those travel names were going nuts, or at least holding gains despite market weakness. And now, sure enough, today they're weak. But still being patient there. I think that's about it. Not much else, not much else to talk about. I mean, I would talk about Roku, but I don't want to. It's flat. It actually looked like it was gonna get going earlier this afternoon, but then it's just been chopping around. It's got to get back over $80. I think once that happens, off to the races. And WYNN is right near highs here. Would love to see it close over 100 on WYNN. That's it, folks. Let's have a great afternoon. I'll be back later. Rock and roll.